Good afternoon. It's Friday, the 13th of January 2017, just after 1 o'clock. Welcome to UK Column News. I'm your host, Brian Gerrish. With me in the studio, of course, Mike Robinson. And we're delighted to be joined today by David Scott, Northern Exposure, but also Dr. Graham Downing. So we've got a very full news programme. We've got a lot of interesting material to cover. And really, it's a reflection of the speed at which events are unfolding around us. But we're going to kickstart today with a report on Melanie Shaw. Now, we said yesterday that Melanie had been sentenced to 2 years in a Nottingham court. She was not present. She was on video link. The case was not made public, available to the public. So essentially a secret court, and she gets a 2-year sentence, but we didn't know what. Now, we've made a report on the UK column. That was really to try and bring people up to speed with the information that we had yesterday. So if you want to read that, it's still
well. And in fact, I just want to say thanks to everybody that has shared that already on Facebook. Please keep sharing it. We want to give Melanie as much exposure as possible.
This is absolutely right, because we think that Melanie is in a very dangerous position at the moment. And this is the reason why we now have learnt that she's to appear in Derby Court on the 25th February 2017 to face charges of alleged assault against HM Prison Fosten Hall staff. Now, what is so dangerous about this is we know from Melanie's communications with us, she was talking about being bullied, harassed, stripped naked, riot squads from the prison, males coming into her cell, threatening her. She's been kept in solitary confinement for 9 months. She's been denied medication. She's been brutalised. And now we're to understand that against all of that, if Melanie has reacted in any way, she's now being charged with assault. But if you think about it, she's still technically being looked after. What an unpleasant expression that is, by the same staff who are now going to take her to court claiming that they've been assaulted by the woman who's a traumatised child abuse victim and whistleblower. We also understand that police officers have visited Melanie Shaw while she's been in prison. We understand that Melanie didn't cooperate with them, but it would appear that those police officers, deeply interested in knowledge about connections between the Nottingham child abuse and, we believe, members of Parliament. So this is very dirty and dangerous stuff, and Melanie's going to need as much support as possible.
Now, I wanted to highlight this this comment on the from the YouTube channel, which says Melanie Shaw must have some very hot potatoes to share. It's a crying shame that somebody didn't record a full account of all she knows, especially Beechwood apparent brothel subscriber names, before the associates of the same got hold of her. And I just thought, Brian, it was worth mentioning. Of course, that is not the case. There is a full account available.
This is absolutely true. We have to say to people, please be aware that Melanie, as many other abuse survivors, are very delicate people. They've been through a lot. They're traumatised, so it can be very difficult to get information from them. But we're pleased to say that over a number of months, Melanie has given a number of people very comprehensive and recorded accounts as to what she went through, what she learnt, what she knew. And of course, she's commented on the fact that she had absolute proof that Nottinghamshire police did not fully investigate the Beechwood abuses. That was a web of lies and a cover-up. But we are delighted to say that the testimony from Melanie does exist. However, how that is used requires great care. So if you can, stay with us on that, and we will release more information about that in due course. Now, somebody's already anticipated us by saying that basically, where is Melanie Shaw's MP? Well, Melanie Shaw's MP is the Labour MP, Chris Leslie. This is, I believe, a very unpleasant photograph, because this is Chris Leslie prepared to have a glad hand bonhomie photograph with Melanie when she was out of prison. Melanie, of course, worked for Chris Leslie as part of his PA staff, so he knows her extremely well. But this despicable man has done absolutely nothing for Melanie whilst she has been in prison, and indeed he's done nothing to support her story of abuse or to give her help. Now, somebody made a very, very good suggestion to us. We know that Melanie has had letters sent to her blocked by the prison or stolen, and the contents of letters and packages sent to her in HMP Fosten Hall blocked or stolen. And the suggestion was made that anyone writing to Melanie at the prison should send that letter to her MP so that he can appreciate the scale of public interest, but he can also be made responsible for seeing that letters from the public actually reach Melanie within the prison system. But words almost fail me on this case that we have our Prime Minister, Theresa May, says she abhors child abuse, but what has she done as Home Secretary, in her time as Home Secretary? She has helped this brutal setup, an attack on an extremely brave whistleblower, Melanie Shaw.
Let's just get a little bit of comment. David, you first. What are your thoughts on what's been going on around this case recently?
My thoughts are what we have here is a case of the British state being involved in torture. There doesn't seem to be any other word for it. This is every bit as bad as what's been going on at Guantanamo Bay and other such places. The huge amount of time in solitary confinement is a psychological torture that can be described as nothing else. And we have our court system conniving with this and not allowing any proper examination of the rights of the case. We used to have a law called habeas corpus that was meant to stop this and allow any member of the public who was concerned to get matters properly examined by a fair hearing.
Indeed. Graham, you're a doctor. Is it fair to say that when somebody has been in solitary confinement for 9 months, that is a form of torture?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that massively stresses the individual, which causes huge problems with the endocrine system. And, you know, the same thing with animals. If you do experiments on animals, we do experiment on any living thing, and then you lock it away for a period of time, you deny it access to light, or you deny it access to other human interaction, there can be very serious ramifications from that. I mean, that sounds astonishing that someone would be locked up for that period of time in England. I'm not an expert on the prisons, and I'm not an expert on what they do in that, but obviously I can tell you unequivocally that absolutely can cause damage to someone.
Melanie's been a long time user of, how do we describe the drugs?
Well, she's needed drugs in order to maintain a normal life. She's needed help to sleep, and she's also needed medication like Prozac. Whatever we believe about that, she has been at a stage where she's only been able to have a normal life by getting the support of medication.
So that medication's been withheld from her, Graham, and not through any weaning off process. It's just been withdrawn. That can also only have a pretty negative effect on her well-being.
I mean, sure. I mean, there must be some prison doctor of some sort that is overseeing her care. I'm not privy to what she takes or why they're doing. I mean, it sounds incredulous that they would take medication from someone that needs it. So obviously we need a bit more detail. I think the whole problem of all of this stuff is you don't have information. And I think you said with the court case, it's incredible that in 2017, the UK subjects are not, they're going through a court system that sounds like something from a third world country, not the UK.
I'll just say, Graham, that we had absolute proof that she was denied her long-term medication. Valium was one of the drugs that she'd relied on. We have absolute proof that she was denied the medication. And the other trick that was carried out in HM Prison Peterborough, that's a private prison under the control of Sodexo, was that they would withhold the medication for a few days. Then they would actually try and get her to take more than she was supposed to take, and then they withdraw it again. So actually, there's a very clear record. But you use the word care. It seems to us that actually now within the prison system, care is disappearing fast. This is a brutal system around this woman. And I think they want her destroyed mentally and physically in order to bury the evidence that she has, which includes the brutalisation of children by British MPs.
Okay, well, let's move on to health matters. David,